2025, which is the quintessential recognition for exceptional marketing work achievements for leaders all over the country. BW Merit Awards 2025 will be lauding those who have demonstrated notable and impactful marketing strategies and have further contributed to the greater good of their respective companies and the entire ecosystem. Because of course, it's not about one person's individual growth, the entire ecosystem grows alongside every individual's growth. Ladies and gentlemen, this award will also be propelling unique business ideas, marketing practices, and strategies amongst the younger talent lot who look forward to making it big in this industry and unblocking the maximum opportunities for themselves. Well, I believe I've said quite a lot, but of course, audio visual format really helps us a lot more in terms of understanding rather than verbal speech. So can I request the console team to please kindly play the event AV so that you can get a sneak peek of what today's event is all about? Can we have the AV, please? Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a bit of applause from all of you over here? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you all can hear me loud and clear, all of you at the back. And just a bit of a request before we get going ahead. Can I please request our honorable guests and delegates at the back to kindly please fill in the chairs over here at the front first so that the people and our guests who are joining us later can, be easily comfortable in the seats behind. So I'll request all of you to please kindly come a little forward. And of course, it's a lot more motivating for speakers as well to see a lot of people around them. So yeah, that's how it is. Thank you so much to all of you for being such kind people. Ladies and gentlemen, today's agenda will be reflecting various nuances of modern marketing, talking about a holistic, customer-centric approach that often uses digital channels and data to build long-term relationships and drive business results. The sessions will emphasize understanding customer needs, creating personalized experiences, and delivering value over simply selling products for the sake of it. Today's conference, ladies and gentlemen, is currently being live streamed right now across all BW Businessworld platforms, including our social media channels as well. You can find in the login website, which is www.bwmarketingworld.com. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, BW Businessworld is led by the visionary Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, BW Businessworld, and founder of Exchange for Media Group, the fastest growing business media house in the entire country. With a network across 24 niche business communities and 8 magazines, BW Businessworld, ladies and gentlemen, is proud to be entrenched in various verticals in domestic as well as the global business ecosystem. With changing times, BW has adopted quickly as well, as they now have a massive readership in the digital space as well. BW in its portfolio has 24 niche B2B communities that organize conferences and events and forums like these to facilitate interaction between sectoral business leaders and create a conducive environment for collaboration. So please stay updated on the latest developments by subscribing to the magazines within the Businessworld group. It's time to enhance your professional journey for knowledge, insights, with special awards and special, I would say, offers available for all the event attendees over here. Please do watch out for the latest issue as well, which hits the stands this weekend, throwing spotlight on India's rupees 50,000 crore defense tech export ambition. Ladies and gentlemen, no event is genuinely successful without the support of the partners. So I would like to take out this moment to thank our partners for extending the support for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, partners, Joy Travels Private Limited, Fandrum, IWM Buzz, Exchange for Media, The Thick Shake Factory, Beanley Coffee, Reality Plus, Impact, Weekly Magazine, Pitch, and of course, organized by the wonderful, wonderful team of BW Businessworld. Before I go ahead, can I request all of you to clap loudly and appreciate the wonderful work BW Businessworld has put up to bring this together. Thank you so much. Before I go ahead, of course, it's important I mentioned about Dr. Anurag Batra being the visionary leading the team. We have Sir over here, so I'd like to take up this opportunity to call Sir on stage to kindly give away the opening note. Please give a big round of applause to the one and only Dr. Anurag. Sir, please. Thank you.
Please give a big round of applause to one and only Shubhajit Ghosh. There's only one Anurag Batra. There's only one Shubhajit Ghosh. There's only one Subhranshu Singh. There's only one Chetan Mehra. At least I only know one Chetan Mehra, and I know only one Shivang Popli. These are early days for the BW Marketing World community. These are early days for Merit and Momentum. Momentum is the conference on marketing that we put together. And we have a fantastic quality of speakers and practitioners, business leaders who will talk to you about what they are doing. Clapping is good for my heart muscle, so clap. It's a good thing. The yoga guy comes in the morning. He asks me to take some deep breaths, asks me to clap, and he takes away some money from me every morning. So we're not taking away any money from you, but we're doing this good for heart muscles. How many of you have a good life? How many of you are happy? Happy? Good. Gratitude and happiness attracts more gratitude and happiness. These are early days, I'm going to talk to you philosophically. Momentum, life is about momentum, business is about momentum, marketing is about momentum. In the evening, we have Merit Marketing World Awards, Chetan Mehra, Rima, Mr. Rohil Amin, Shivam, other colleagues in business world have put it together. Chetan's led it. So give a big round of applause to Chetan. I don't know where he is, but he is working. Shivam is here. How many of you like reading books? You still haven't got this book, no? How many of you, has anybody read this book? Okay. It's Ali. This is a book I read about 4 months back. I was trying to carry it on the flight yesterday also, but I didn't because, I carry 2 new books which I read on the flight. This book is called Fluke. It's written by Brian Klaas. It's a lovely book. Evening I read another book. I'm giving it to the console. How many of you consider yourself successful? How many of you consider yourself successful, right? Okay. Why are you successful, sir? Why do you consider yourself successful? Can you get him a mic?
I consider myself successful because I had a very successful career. I had a very successful life. I'm a happiness coach. I've been a banker by profession, 26 years with ICICI and HDFC Bank. I have my own consultancy now. And I consider myself successful and happy professionally also, physically fit also. I practice gratitude, manifestation.
Fantastic. And who do you give the credit to for all this success that you have?
Firstly, I give the credit to my parents, encouraging me for going for this path. And secondly, I pat my own back because it was my decision, do something in life, take certain calls, and which gave me success in life.
Got it. Now, the central theme of this book. When I tell you put up those slides, right now, not okay. right? So I read this book, and the central theme of this book is that we give ourselves too much credit for all the good that we achieve. But everything that happens to us in life is serendipity, it is chance, it is luck. Of course, they say when luck meets preparation, success happens. For example, if Donald Trump hadn't, the world would be a very different place. Right? Stories in it, there's a particular story which is not a very happy story, but two colleagues were supposed to meet in New York at a company conference, and they're a boy and a girl. They're having a relationship. They work for the same company, and they're about to they meet, and the girl carries a tie for the boy. He's wearing a certain shirt, and the tie doesn't look good in the shirt, so she requests him to change the shirt so that the tie looks good. He goes back to his hotel's room, and he's ironing the shirt to wear a new shirt. He goes to the office. The office is in Twin Towers in Manhattan. One of the plane hits the Twin Towers. She dies in that. And because he is in his hotel, ironing his shirt. So the life is a lot about serendipity. It's a sad story. Point is, this book says that we give too much credit to ourselves for our success and too little for our failures. We don't take a responsibility for failures. And there's nothing called failure. Everything in life is work in progress. Andy Posh said, experience is what you get when you don't get. So it's a lovely book. I don't get any royalties from the sale of the book, but I recommend that you can buy and read. About 4 weeks back, I was in Bombay. I was at a bookstore, and I bought this book. It's a story about Meta and Meta Facebook, and it basically says that social media and large tech companies only care about profits. They don't care about human beings. We can't trust them. The former head of public policy, she was a New Zealander, and then she joined Facebook. I don't endorse the book, but it's an interesting book to read. Now, someone called me in the morning. I've known him from the time I got married, which is 24 years and 3 days back. And he's my father-in-law's friend, and he called me just now. He's a big guy in the aviation industry. And he asked me, how am I? I said, I'm very good. God is very kind. I'm doing well. And I'm grateful, except that I miss my mom. I lost my mom 7 months and 2 days back. And this book came to me 2-3 days after my mom had expired. I think 27th or 28th October, I got it. My mom passed away early morning on 25th October. And it basically says that it's a lovely book. All the books are nice from a nice side. It's the storytelling and the anecdotes in the book that matter. So lovely anecdotes. I want to show you one of the pages from the book. And the title of the chapter is What Matters on Finding Your Way. It is said of Rabbi Shincha Bunim that he carried 2 slips of paper, one in each pocket. On one he wrote, Vishwali Nivra Halom, for my sake the world was created. On the other he wrote, One Anoki Afar, one Afar. He would take away each slip of paper as necessary as a reminder to himself. So, we can live with 2 thoughts that the world is around us. We are the center of the world. And if you're a Hindu, I'm a Hindu. Then you're a Christian, Muslim, Zoroastrian, Sikh, whatever, at the end of the day, there's one universe, whatever power you believe in. So really, don't take it in front of your wife. You know what happens? Or what happened to the French president last night? Right? I sent it to my son, who's 17. So point I'm trying to make is that we have to be humble at the same time. We have to be confident. It's a balance that one must strike. And I read a book yesterday. Can you put up that? It was a very pacey book. I couldn't put it down. I finished 2 chapters and then it's called Money GPT. AI and the Threat to the Global Economy by James Rickards. And it is like a spy thriller. It has scenarios that the next few wars will not be fought by, missiles and drones. They will just cripple your economy. They talk about how what will happen. What can happen, what panic can be created, and how the rise of generative artificial intelligence helps you do it in a mass scale. There is a guy called Ray Kurzweil. Haven't you heard of Ray Kurzweil? Has anybody have heard of? So he's a guy who first talked about the concept of singularity. You know what is singularity? Singularity is when when the machines can mimic human behavior, where whatever humans can do, machines can do with the same amount of. And as of now, it is said that singularity will happen in 2034. Ray Kurzweil has made some 100 odd predictions. 74 of them have come true. So he says with the advances in technology, in nanobots, he talks of nanobots, that after 2030, we'll be, we can move towards immortality because almost all diseases will be curable. He was an engineer at Google, one of the leading voices on technology. Ray Kurzweil, you may want to look him up. It's a lovely book. I read it, and of course, technology is like a tool. Also, can you bring my presentation back? Also, last year was a watershed year. $1.1 trillion was spent in advertising, out of which 650 plus were spent on digital and 370 were spent on 650 billion and 370 billion on traditional media. Out of this 650, almost 460 billion were between two companies. You can guess which, Meta and Google. If you look at the industries of tomorrow, it talks about e-commerce as a 20 trillion industry. Then is the AI software, which is already growing, and it says it'll be 4.6 trillion. Then is cloud services, 3.4 trillion, electric vehicles, 3.2, digital ads, 2.9, almost 3 trillion. It's at 1.1 trillion now. Semiconductors, 2.4, so on, cybersecurity. So clearly, you can see which are the industries which are growing. Coming to marketing, marketing is a growth function. All marketeers are growth creators. When I talk to my CMO friends, some will speak today, some will be awarded today. How many of them will be able to become CEOs? Today, the average tenure of a CMO has come down from 60 months to 36 months a couple of years back. And now the average tenure is about 31, 32 months. It is almost 2.5 years. So if I may say, the role of a CMO may get disbanded. The line between sales and marketing, I know sales is a different function, marketing is a different function. But if you spend on let's say an e-commerce platform, you spend your dollars, advertising dollars, you can correlate on what is creating sale. So clearly, the future, because of technology and the rise in digital, and we are all becoming digital first in a lot of things that we do, we'll be able to contribute to this growing economy. And I want to end by saying the more the digital grows, the value of face-to-face grows. We could have done this over Zoom, but we're doing this in a room with you. So you can look at the concert economy, what's happened in the last 18 months. People can listen to music on the Spotify. Why pay for an airline ticket, for a hotel room, for the concert ticket? So the more technology grows, the more online grows, the value of face-to-face physical touch, being able to lock eyes with each other, to shake a hand, to have a cup of tea, coffee will grow. So that is the paradox with this. I welcome you to the second edition of Momentum. It is a young conference, BW Marketing World. My editorial colleagues are there. Mr. Suhail Amin, who's our senior editor, is there. Ms. Reema Bhaduri is there. Chetan, Shivam, and one more colleague is there. Sharon is there from the Business World team. So all the best. Applaud louder for all the speakers who come. And I wish you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Can I have the biggest round of applause for Dr. Anurag Batra, please? And I would like to repeat the one and only Dr. Anurag Batra. That's how it is. Before we move forward, I'll request for the legacy AV to be played once again, please. A lot of us have joined us right now, so I would like to request the console for the legacy AV, please. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the special legacy AV of BW Businessworld. Once again, can I please request all of you with the loudest amount of intensity and appreciation, BW Businessworld it is. We are all set to go ahead with our first panel discussion. I would like to request, please put the chairs and the seats on stage, sir. What I'm going to do is, in the meantime, I'm going to be introducing our topic for the panel discussion, and I'm going to be inviting our speakers on stage. This is going to be an interesting panel discussion on the topic of MarTech 2025, tools, trends, and transformation. I'll repeat the topic for the panel discussion once again. This is about MarTech 2025, tools, trends, and transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know that the marketing technology is evolving rapidly with tools ranging from automation to customer relationship management. So how are the brands effectively utilizing MarTech to streamline campaigns, personalize customer interactions, and improve their ROI? I think a lot of knowledge and wisdom is set to be taken from this panel discussion. We have the chairs ready on stage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be inviting our speakers, and I'm going to be introducing them, and I'm going to be requesting them to kindly join me on stage together. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to first call upon stage alongside our speakers, Neha Plasterwala, Head of Marketing and Communications at Lockton, India. Alongside her, Somesh Surana, Joint President, Digital Business Group and Marketing, HDFC Ergo General Insurance. Samyukta Iyer, former CMO, Sephora, Baskin-Robbins, Kaya CEO and founder, The Simple Thing. And to moderate this session, we have with us Reema Bhaduri, editorial lead, BW Marketing World and BW Businessworld. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please request the loudest amount of appreciation for our speakers for the first panel discussion of today's incredible conference. Can I have all our speakers on stage, please? Give them a big round of applause as they join us over here on stage, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi everyone, good morning to all of you. Thank you for being a part of BW Momentum Conference, the second edition of it. Your session chair for the morning has apparently changed a little bit. Samyukta will be joining us soon. And yes, we have Mr. Samir Surana with us. Neha Plasterwala is yet to join us. I think the Bombay rains and the Bombay traffic has really struck on with the people. But okay, now our topic is Martech 2025 tools, trends, and transformation. As we sit on talking about marketing, uh, we do talk about how Martech works. Marketing technology has taken enormous leap when it comes to the use of tools which we currently see, whether it be in personalization, artificial intelligence, use of data per se. So we have seen a lot of those things coming in, especially in 2025, and it's continuously evolving. While we wait for Neha, before that, Sumesh, if you can give a quick introduction about SDFC Ergo, your role, and yeah, what a little introduction about yourself.
Hi everyone, very good morning to you. I work with HDFC Ergo. I manage the digital business and marketing for HDFC Ergo. When I say that, I mean, a little bit background about me. I started my career with advertising, then realized that I need to be on the other side of the table and got into marketing for largely BFSI. And since last 13, 14 years, I also transitioned into building digital businesses, and that's what I've been doing since 2012. While marketing remains my something which is very close to my heart, but building startups, building digital business, building new business channels is something which I'm very passionate about. So that's about me.
So Sumesh, like if I may ask you on like since we are talking about Martech, right? So what are some of the trends that you're witnessing in Martech today?
So I think there is no more marketing without market is what I strongly believe in. And it should not be. Days are gone when you used to do advertising, you used to do marketing campaigns without thinking of what is going to be the return on investment from the investments that you're doing. It's very important to uh, have clear KPIs. And when you have very clear KPIs for any campaigns, any marketing initiative that you do, it has to be something which you can evaluate in a very tangible manner. And MarTech helps you in doing that. MarTech not only helps you in customizing your audience, MarTech not only helps you in designing very hyper personalized campaigns depending on who the customer cohort is, what are the traits of this customer cohort. It also helps you in evaluating the effectiveness of the campaigns that you execute or implement. So I think MarTech in many ways is now part of each and every marketeer. A meaningful marketing organization, a meaningful marketing team will not be able to execute anything without having the right set of marketing tools. It's very important to understand as well, and I firmly believe in that. You need to understand consumers and the changing needs of the consumers. And that is changing at a much faster pace than it used to be earlier. Earlier, as marketeers, we used to do media planning, we used to think of consumers and what are consumption methods from a media perspective. And we used to plan our campaigns. Today, the media consumption habits and ways of how we consume the media has completely changed. So I think MarTech helps you in kind of reaching out to the right set of audience at the right time.
Okay, so with Martech tools, we eventually also witness, we say that data is the new oil, right? So we are seeing a cookieless future and also witnessing a dependency on first party data strategy. Now, with a cookieless future, brands are actually doubling their, basis on content on accumulating data through first-party data. So, how do you see the use of market? How has it accelerated, or how have you leveraged these tools in order to gain that data in your strategy?
I think no MarTech tool gives you any access to any data. MarTech tool will help you slice and dice the data that you already have or what you're getting. Uh, if there are MarTech tools who really claim to give any data, I don't think as larger organizations we really look at looking at those. But I think what MarTech does, like I said, is slice and dice the data in the manner that you can be very targeted when you're going with your campaigns. And I can give this and explain this with examples. Especially in a category like ours, which is general insurance, it is a not very high involvement category. It's a low involvement category. Uh, Consumers buy a product and probably they interact with us only after a year, or they interact with us only when at the time of renewals, when they again come and renew the policy. In a category like this, it becomes very difficult for us to engage with the customer, to be in touch with the customer. And tech tools uh, really help us do that. When do I need to go and engage with you? What consume the most? Is it that you're spending more time on a particular social media platform versus another? And hence, I will be able to go and engage with you in a meaningful manner if I have this information about. So I don't get customer data, but I think I get information which is meaningful. That's what tech really does, and it should be used in a manner where you can engage with the consumers in a much better manner. Like we did vernacular campaigns, which really helped us in reaching out to people in the language that they understand more or relate more to. And that really gave us a jump in conversion rates by almost 10 to 15% than what we used to do in a normal one language creative. So I think these are the tools and capabilities that we should really look at. And this is what you should be looking at when you're looking at MarTech tools, is what my view is.
Lovely. Thank you. That was quite a detailed answer. Everyone, if I could request everyone to please give a round of applause for Neha Plasterwala. She's just joined us. Thank you so much. Neha, so I did have like a couple of questions with Sumesh already. So before I start with your questions, I would request if you could, give a brief introduction of yours to our audience. Our editorial team is also looking at it. So if you could give like a quick introduction of who you are, what you do, and a little about your company.
Sure. Hi. Hi, good morning. Sorry for the delay. I'm Neha Plasterwala. I head marketing and corporate communication for Lockton. Lockton is the world's largest privately owned insurance brokerage. We've just entered the Indian market about 1 year and a few months old. Having said that, I think my role clearly has been around launching the brand in the market. A lot to do with establishing awareness on the brand. We've had a fantastic launch event last year. And typically a Marcom person across the arenas of digital with a lot of MarTech influence. I'm a mother to a 4-year-old and an avid traveler and a chef. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for the introduction.
I'm Reema, by the way, your session chair. Samyukta is also stuck in, traffic and the heavy rains that Bombay is showing us. So definitely a little delay is there from her end. Okay, Sapna, coming to you, like I was asking the same question to Samesh as well. That our topic is Martech 2025, trends, transformation, and tools. What tools do you believe are the most effective in MarTech today, and how have we seen the evolution of marketing technology in 2025?
So to be honest, I think marketing as a field is evolving daily. If you miss out on a few months, I think you're missing out on trends. Technology has only improvised the way we work, and it is here to stay. In fact, I'm sure even when Somesh started his career, the kind of tools we were exposed to what we have today, the entire arena is different. I will divide these tools across content, audio, video, and thereafter into a lot of evolved aspects. So typically across content, I think there's a lot of support. We can name as many tools across AI for content, for copy creation, but we should always use them as a last mile deliverable. We should be sure about using them as facilitators rather than originators, because the moment you're establishing a concept, or let's say you're working on something, the pure charm of the campaign or the pure charm of that writing work is everything that you want to essay. And an AI tool can only amplify it or beautify it. Hence, my thorough request is to, use ideation and maintain that to origination, and thereafter only use AI tools for amplification. Coming to audio video content, I think that's trending. Podcasts, video simulation, a lot of work around these are happening. Several tools. We've done our launch video at Lockton. We've used the AI platform to create a simulated version of the Lockton 3D logo falling across the gateway of India. We did that. That was a very well-received campaign last year. Coming to more tools, I think AI Sora is a platform that we are also working on. We're constantly playing around with it to see what we could do. The space is insurance broking for me, so it's largely B2B. But it's a different arena to try out. Very, very compliance heavy, very regulated. So we have to see how much we could pick up from an AI standpoint, because we'll also have to adhere to guidelines. And we operate in the business of risk very clearly. Coming to evolved arenas of work, I think there is a lot of work happening these days in terms of, I think, just extending my conversation to more B2C centric brands. I think you do not need models to even showcase your design wear or your clothing. You can typically do it up on an AI platform, put it up across a merchandise seller or a marketplace, and you're actually running a full-fledged business without spending cost on marketing. So I'll call that as the evolved category, and that's what all of us are experiencing today. And to not forget, there are enough tools that help you identify AI content. So ending on that note.
Okay, that's lovely. So, Neha, I'll come back to you. But Somesh, like we talk, we are in an era where digitization has taken a major hit. Now, with SGFC Ergo's emphasis on digital innovation, how is MarTech enabling you to meet the challenges of the insurance sector, especially in enhancing consumer trust and engagement?
Thanks. So I think it's a very important conversation to have. And like I said, insurance, and especially insurance, both of us are part of insurance category. I largely cater to B2C, not only B2B, but she's part of B2B. But what you need to understand, it remains a very low involvement category. People are not, first thing in the morning, anybody sitting out here, if I'll ask you, do you think of insurance? Answer is no. And hence, this was the biggest challenge. How do we engage with the consumers and what do we do? And that's where we thought of, and one of the best use cases, which also has been now published in best of the business schools across the world, is our Here app. We came up with an ecosystem. It's an application that all of you can access and right now download either on iOS or Play Store. It is an ecosystem that we've created where you will get ecosystems like motor ecosystem, like health ecosystem, like cyber ecosystem, and pet ecosystem. Consumers can come and interact and engage with us without having an insurance policy with us as well. And that is what we tried creating. Today, if you want to engage with the consumer, please understand what that consumer is looking for. So for example, in motor insurance, all of us who drive vehicle, we want to go to one place and check challans that I have across, irrespective of which geography I was traveling with my car. In motor insurance, I want to understand if I have an EV, where do I go and charge my EV? Are there any EV stations close to wherever I am? And we have given access to that information. In health, I am probably somebody in your family is going through a procedure, say a knee surgery, knee replacement surgery. You want to speak with somebody who's already gone and have got that done. Who do you approach it? So we connect our patients who've already claimed for knee surgery to the people who really want to speak with them. While you've got a point of view from a doctor, you want to understand it from somebody who's undergone it and want to understand what goes through. In cyber ecosystem, we've created something where you can just come and give your email ID and we'll tell you how many times your email ID was compromised. And then you can even go ahead and raise a cyber complaint as well through the platform. So what we've tried doing this, please understand, all of this was possible only through MarTech tools, only through AI first technology. When I talk about MarTech tools, you need to understand the consumer. You need to know, you need to have a good CRM system. You need to have a good marketing automation platform. You need to have good data analytics platform, because if a consumer is coming, if I am not able to analyze the data in the right manner, how do I show him his preferences? So today, if I am going on Here app, I will see a different home screen versus if you go on the Here app, you will see a different home screen. That has been powered by the MarTech. So-called MarTech is a good buzzword, but so-called tools that we have and the analytics that we have at the background. So I think more and more brands will have to understand that you will have to understand consumer in a much better manner, engage with the consumer at the right point in time, and the sales that you want and the business that you want will be subsequently coming to you as a additional thing that they'll be doing. Because if they're engaging with you in a meaningful manner, when they want to buy an insurance, obviously they will consider me as one of the options. And that is what we've seen in our Here app as well. Today, we created 4 ecosystems. There are millions and millions of people who've downloaded this Here app, and they interact with us on a very regular basis. And we are also getting business, because whenever they need an insurance policy, they will remember us and then they do the business as well with us. So I think that's very important to understand. And the right tool is also very important. There are many tools available. What is your requirement? Basis your requirement, which is the right fit of the tool within the options which are available in market. That also plays a very important role. Because probably for an e-commerce company who's not into insurance business, some other MarTech tool will be much better. But for me, delivery is not that important that I need to deliver it in 10 seconds or 10 minutes or 10 hours. For me, the experience of the claim, what is the product that we sell? The only product that we sell, we always say, is claim. You buy insurance policy because you want to have a stress-free claim experience. And hence, for me, all of these tools will be probably more important at the time of the claim rather than at the time of onboarding. I'm saying onboarding is not important. So that's very important to understand. Based on that, you should decide which MarTech tool will make sense for your business, for growth of your business, and for a better experience to the consumer.
So I think just, a brand's credibility naturally, as GF said ago, definitely has a credibility added to itself. Naturally, if consumers see that reputation of the brand, they automatically, it comes to hits their mind. The psychological need that we also understand in marketing. And what I understood is MarTech is one leap ahead where you're trying to engage with your consumers on that. Understood. Neha, to you on this, in the retail landscape. Now, from your perspective, how is MarTech shaping the retail landscape, and what strategies are proving most effective in connecting with today's digital savvy consumers? How do you look at that arena completely?
Thank you. So on the retail side, if I had to say, insurance is becoming very personal. Our conversations now need not be a push. Like gone are the days that insurance was typically pushed out to the consumer. Now, courtesy, even the onset of COVID, I'll say, health has become a very accepted product. Term is becoming a very accepted product. Term also becomes the most it can become completely personless. So you do not really need to depend on a person to pick the product. You interact with a platform or you for the website, and you understand your coverage and you can pick that up. With influencers in the market, there's enough knowledge about these products. Now, when I interact with my customer, I think across all my touch points, how and when I speak to him is very important. There is enough information, but how are you getting the right insight bundled into a complete price point and then thereafter communicated through your campaign? All of this across multiple touch points will then have my customer pick up that product. Again, even if we're talking retail, I think product innovation sits at the center of this. We're working on the arena of affinity, which is corporate motor or corporate fleet, if I could say. And EV vehicles or electric vehicles are at the crux of it. We're working with the regulator, with insurance companies to create a product that matches this new need. You know, to be very honest, I'll actually share an insight with you. For an EV vehicle, what do you think could be, the most regular claim? Do you think is it the wear and tear of the car or some accidental damage, or is it anything to do with the engine malfunction or maybe flooding? Answer is no. Cyber is actually the claim that we are foreseeing for EV vehicles, because there is an integrated chip and there is so much of user behavior that the EV vehicle in itself will pick. There is pay as you go. You know, you have so much innovation happening there. So as and when we talk, even on the retail or the B2B2C side, for me currently in Lockton, there is enough product innovation that's happening, and we're wanting to communicate it differently to the client across segments.
Okay. So when we, before actually I move on to the next question, one thing that I would want to know from both of you, so Michelle, start with you on this. We are talking about the, trends and transformation. What is the transformation from the time we have started using Martech? Martech is still, I don't want to say relatively new. It's there in the market, but people are still, a lot of brands are using it, but a lot of brands I feel still unaware of the optimum use of it. What is the transformation of Martech that you have witnessed, like maybe in the last 2 years? How has it evolved?
It's the transformation that I have seen. Probably I should talk about in the last not 2 years, but in the last 7 to 8 years is really something that we could not expect. So anything and everything that you do today in your lives, right? When you go and buy or order something on Swiggy, uh, you get a very personalized experience, right? All of you go and you've ordered in a particular manner in past, and hence the recommendations that come to you is absolutely personalized, right? And each one of you will have a different recommendation altogether. This is nothing but Martech. This is nothing but the right use of tools which an organization is doing. Any e-commerce portal, without taking name, you go and you buy a product and then you start getting recommendations based on what you buy, or what you should buy based on people who bought this product bought something else as well. This is again nothing but use of the market tools. So I think anything and everything that today we do, and the way it's been personalized, the way data can be looked at. Uh, one of the quick commerce companies CMO I was interacting with, and he asked me one question: what was that one product that sold most on their platform on Holi? I kept talking about colors. I kept talking about uh, what what can come in your mind when it comes to Holi, and the answer was surprising that people were ordering white T-shirt, and that was the most selling thing on the quick commerce platform. Now, this is the power of data. This is the power of taking the right set of decisions, which you're able to kind of take through the tech tools. Today, you know which geography, what product variant is being searched more. And I can then define my larger strategy of the entire organization based on that. Any brand can open stores who are into opening stores or branches, depending on number of searches that you got in a particular region. So I think uh, completely the way marketing used to happen, completely the way you used to scale up the businesses, completely the way you used to take decisions for businesses has changed. And that is the real transformation that I see. That is the real use of these martech tools that I can see. And that's the real transformation that we should be looking at.
Okay. So, Neha, before I come to you, so everyone, I know I've been doing this like one-on-one again and again, but yes, Samyukta Iyer, our original session chair, has joined us. So, if I can please request everyone to give a huge applause for her. So, Bombay traffic? So, okay, Samyukta, so we were on, you know, how Martech has changed in the last 2 years. Oh, okay, lovely. So, so I think the mic is with me, so I'll hand over the mic to you. And our session will be carried on by Miss Samyukta Iyer. So here you go, and all the best.
Thank you so much. So thanks, Rima, for holding fort, and thank you for being such a patient audience. My Yeah, big round. Thank you, Rima. So I think we've been having a little bit of a serious conversation. So, and I think I want to engage with you guys also a little more. So, little bit of an icebreaker for a little detour. So, Neha, very interesting profile you got there. So, I know you all have been talking about dashboards and data. So, slight detour with everyone's permission here. You're a writer, traveler, and a mother, right? So, could you tell us a story from your travels or parenting life that unexpectedly led to a marketing idea, maybe?
All right. So that's a bit tricky, but I'll be honest here. So what happened was this was again 2020, and we were on the verge of picking up a new vehicle. So I was just few years into insurance broking, and we walk into a store. We've done our but sort of research. I've understood what options we're looking at, and we went back to the brand just out of curiosity to understand what's the price breakdown. We get the price breakdown. um, so two elements here. One was he did not know that I come from insurance or insurance broking. Second, he thought I was the woman negotiating. So he just assumed that oh chalo ye to main manage kar lunga, iska kya hai, madam ko 1 lakh aur le lenge. ठीक है? So we had both those biases sitting. He thought my husband would lead, but then he knew who's talking. We spoke, we got our insurance quote. I asked him a few questions, and he was like, he was a little upset. Like, "Yaar, how does she know all this? Why is she asking me all this?" So I didn't do anything. I went back to my organization that I was working back in. I got a quote, and I'm like, listen, ये actual value है. आप मेरे को बताओ if you can give me your insurance quote. Like, नहीं, madam, it's mandatory. You have to pick this from the uh, from the brand, and our service centers will only pick up your claims if that comes in, which is absolute fudge because it's that is in place. Plus, the aspect about women not knowing insurance, I think times are changing. There are a lot of women who are picking up their own term life insurance, health insurance, and that negotiation is happening. I'm sure the Gen Z, a lot of the audience here are taking those discussion points. We're able to communicate value of the insurance to the customer, and we also picked up a campaign where we announced it to the audience that this is the insight. Can we ask people for more details? Can we not accept the first price that you're getting in? And obviously the aspect around insurance and women, that also was a subject which we picked across another campaign later.
Thank you so much. Wasn't that fascinating? Thank you so much for sharing that. Somesh, this is for you, little googly. So you build digital businesses and brands alike, right? So what's that one marketing myth that you have gleefully busted in your career?
Uh, Many, but I think one of the things that when I joined my recent organization, we always used to feel that insurance can only be sold if you call a customer and follow up and then talk 3 or 4 times. And then, we started building the organization, we started questioning the status quo, we started experimenting, which is what any new business or any new channel would do. And to your surprise, today I sell 40% of my digital business policies without any assistance, absolutely straight through. And there is not a single call that we make, there's not a single assistance that is provided to the customer. And believe you me, I'm not talking about only products like travel and two-wheeler insurance, which also there are a lot of people or organizations who probably still call the customer for them. But I'm also talking about products like health insurance, car insurance, which are a bit more complex, higher ticket size products. Still, the myth and the belief that people had that the moment a lead is generated, you need to call within seconds. Otherwise, you will lose the customer and conversion rates will drop, was completely busted. And we today, like I said, more than 40% of our, almost 40% of our policies are completely straight.
Fantastic. That's actually brings me to a question that I had for you. This whole space that you're talking about, that whole, it's a very highly regulated industry, right? Where both of you are operating. So what's that very fine line between personalization and compliance? How do you kind of innovate without stepping? Like he said, someone's, generated an interest and, you feel that urge to immediately do that call. So in light of that, how do you kind of strike that balance?
So for our audience, I think I'm sure even Somesh will agree. We have 6 internal reviews and approvals before any creative or presentation or deck that goes out externally. That's how regulated we are. There is also a filing that we follow with IRDI where we're constantly creating unique numbers and keeping that record for IRDI to monitor. Having said this, I'll tell you this aspect around we spoke about, sorry, can you just come back to the question? I've just lost my place.
And without overstepping while following all the compliance.
Right. So while we follow compliance, how do we not overstep? Now I'll give you this example. Let's say we're talking health. Health, my largest experience is claims. Rather, any product for that matter, my largest experience is claims. And claims for that matter, at least on the health side, is not a very positive experience because you're typically at the hospital, someone is possibly ill or hospitalized for a surgery or something or the other. So it's a very negative emotion that you're dealing with at a customer from that point. Can we push the product to the customer then? Next time aap top up kara lo, don't just take health insurance, take a top up insurance also. Doesn't work, right? The person is not in the sentiment. So that's that fine line of not wanting to overstep. What can I do in that case? I should create a seamless claims experience. I should ensure that there are lesser calls made, more positive affirmations in terms of handling the claims better, documenting it for my client and ensuring that there's lesser complaints or any claim rejections that may come in or anything that needs to additionally get supported from a broker standpoint. Now, again, as a broker, if I come in here, service is the only aspect that I own. I don't own products. So my thin line here is also talking about ownership of products. I own the service and not the product, which will not be the case for HDFC for that matter. So we have to be constantly cognizant of the fact that we're talking service. We're not showing any ownership of the products, even in the captions or even simple statements that we write on a day-to-day basis. This constant drilling or hammering is there that let's maintain a tonality which matches what the regulator wants me to do, which addresses the sentiment of the customer and does purpose to what the brand wants to achieve.
Thank you. Thank you. So you said something very human right now, right? You said you're dealing with a lot of negative emotions and you can't be pushing anything to anyone at that point in time. And therefore, there is this sensitivity or humaneness while sticking to the regulation that y'all are operating with. Beautiful. On this line that she's just opened up for us. So while you're building all of these digital businesses, how do you ensure that whatever you're doing, it's not just scaling processes, but it's actually scaling empathy as well?
So I think the business that we are into, and like she was touching upon, the only product that we sell, we don't have a product per se. The only product that we sell or the promise that we sell is claims. Claims is a situation or an experience which anyway is not a very pleasant experience, even if it is your car, even if it is your two-wheeler, even if it is your health of your dear ones. Or if you're traveling and you have a incident which requires claim. So anyway, that experience is not good enough. And if you don't have empathy there, and you treat the consumer as one of the account numbers or one of the policy numbers, then probably you've lost that customer forever. And hence, empathy obviously will play a very important role. No matter how much automation you want to do, no matter how much AI will come and play an important role, but empathy will always remain as one of the cores that we have, at least as an organization. And hence, when it comes to claims, there are certain principles and philosophy that we follow. Every claim is being scrutinized at a level, topmost level. Any cancellations, any claims which are being rejected also has been looked at various levels to ensure that the right decision is being taken, so that the empathy doesn't go away. There are systems to make the process simpler and faster, but there are checks and balances that you always need to maintain, and which is what we do, because as a brand, we are a brand which has been trusted, and we've been doing that. I mean, the claim rejection rate of ours compared to industry is much lesser, and it's a published number, it can be looked at. But the reason behind that is that we follow the concept of empathy, which you said, and hence it is very important. And it goes in our DNA. So even if you're onboarding a consumer, the empathy needs to be looked at. We cannot treat a consumer in a manner. If somebody doesn't want to buy, we cannot not treat that customer properly. If there are certain guidelines, there are certain rules that need to be followed. Like you said, if a customer is not okay to be called, we note that and we make sure that the communication goes across our lead management system to all the callers, so that no more calls are done to that customer. If a customer has said certain things to be called back at a particular time, that needs to be done, and because we need to respect the time of the consumer. So tools are used to ensure that we give a better experience and we don't compromise on empathy is something that we follow.
Beautiful. And I think that's what's kind of needed today, right? In general businesses. Another point here that kind of came up for me, right? Where you've actually transitioned from Infosys to Lockton in your career. So you've kind of seen the tech first. See the tension or the synergy between automation and authenticity. A lot of your conversation right now has been around being authentic to where the consumer is, and you're kind of meeting them where they are. So where do you see this balance happening? Is there a synergy, or are they at conflict with one another?
So I think there's both synergy and tension. Because I also come from a technology background, I've done my education in tech. I think the largest synergy is that there are more authentic storytelling that is happening. There is clearer segmentation. We have a better understanding of the customer. That's where all the synergies come in, and there's effective implementations happening. The tension arises from the aspect of not respecting privacy. I think with so much information around available for each one of us here, probably in the room, from our customers' standpoint, we can easily simulate a lot of their customer behavior. And if we do not know where to draw the line from the aspect of analyzing data or respecting the customer's privacy, it doesn't work, because that's the first moment of truth for a customer to possibly not connect with me. That one extra phone call when you've put him on a DND, or with the customer has clearly said that I'm not interested in the product, still wanting to push the product, doesn't work. That's where we have to have very, very clear demarcations of what not to do, because I think that's a must have, that's hygiene check. And beyond that, across storytelling, across more authentic conversations, we can get the synergies going strong.
Super. So there is a lot of respect. I think you also spoke about respecting the customer, and then you ended on a lovely note. You said storytelling. So that's a question for you now. You operate in a category, actually both of you do, where trust is kind of prima facie. Like you said, if I've put you on D&D, you're not going to call me back. You're going to kind of respect that and keep it at that. So how do you balance data-led marketing with this need for, there's a lot of emotional storytelling. Like you said, it's not a nice thing, whether it's your two-wheeler or whether it's health. It's not a nice emotion anyway. So how do you kind of do this balance?
So I think there are two challenges that you need to understand first from an industry perspective, and then I'll answer that. The biggest challenge with insurance as a category, and I can say it with more confidence because I work very closely with GI Council as well. The industry that we are in, most of the consumers feel that nothing will happen to them, but will happen to the person sitting next to them or person they don't know. So somewhere insurance awareness or the reason why you should invest into insurance is still a challenge in our country. Despite of motor insurance being mandatory, almost 40 to 50% vehicles flying in this country are still uninsured, which gives you a data point as to what importance we give to insurance, right? The second problem which you rightly touched upon is of trust. If they even feel that I should be investing into insurance, can I believe the insurance company or the provider that they will be standing by me at the time of the claim? Now, that is where these are the two challenges that need to be solved at an industry level. Coming on then to your question, and that we are doing in various ways, thought leaders and the bigger companies will do by insurance awareness initiatives. Regulator will do through initiatives like Insurance for All by 2047. There are certain structured discussions, decisions that they've taken and the steps that they've taken with which they're doing. And individual insurance companies are doing at their own levels, right? And the council, like the insurance council is doing at their level. So these two challenges over a period of time will be solved through various interventions that will be done. The question that you now asked, which was how do we balance between data-led marketing and then ensuring that we don't kind of breach the trust of the consumer, that we are still reaching out. I think if you reach out, and I was talking about this before you came, if you reach out to the customer in the right manner, if you are gaining the mind share of the customer, and the philosophy that now we follow is very clear that let's gain the mind share of the customer, market share will follow automatically. The earlier the problem was that everybody was running after the market share. I need to have X percentage of market share. I need to have this much of market share. But around we're forgetting what consumer needs. And the moment you change your perspective to mind share, the moment you become a part of the mind share of the consumer, the rest of the things will follow. And hence I gave an example earlier as well, that if you know the customer, what do a customer need when they're driving the vehicle? I can give them what everybody else is also giving, but I have certain details. For example, who better than us can tell you that if you're traveling to a particular country, don't go in these areas because these areas are theft prone areas, because when I got the claim, I am aware of that these are the geographies where people had claimed for theft when they were traveling these countries. Now, if that is the meaningful information that I provide to the consumers, why will consumer not be interacting with me or engaging with me? And then they will trust me. Yes, this is the organization which provides me the right set of information. They don't push any information that they need. And by the way, I also read about a proposition which they are talking about, which is good enough, and hence I should invest into this. I think the moment you change the perspective of mind share to market share, things will change, is what my view is.
Fantastic. So from matrices to mindset shift, right? Beautiful. I think we need the audience to interact a little bit. So if I could ask everyone to keep your tech devices away for just a quick second. Quick question for everyone in the audience. How many of you are using MarTech tools in your organization? Just show of hands. Okay. And what's that one tool that you absolutely love but secretly don't understand? This is a little confession question, so anyone can take it up. Perfect. Thank you.
Right.
Hi.
A wonderful session. My name is Mayank Mehta. I am the Managing Director for Balanced Chemistry. We are a concept marketing organization. We work with a lot of corporates and we design campaigns for them. One thing, answering to your question, the one thing which I love to do, but I fear to do is giving a brief to my team and not expecting them to go on chat GPT or perplexity or any AI tool and coming back to me and saying that these are the ideations which we need to do for the particular organization. Because what happens is, I know that, every organization has a marketing team. Every organization has, a set of people who are who are more skilled because they know their product better than anybody else. But, we have to come up with something new, ideas, new marketing perspective. As Mr. Somesh Surana mentioned that we have to change the mindset. So when we go with any brief we get and we go with a set of presentation, we have to ensure we have to do our homework well, so that particular experiment has not done in the past, and we come up with some new approach towards that problem solving. But the thing which people like to do is people like to have a shortcuts by using the AI to get the answers fast, and getting the PPTs also made by AI. So that is something which saves time, but that's not the ultimate solution, which I feel. And rightly said by ma'am that originality is originality. I mean, we can amplify on AI, but we have to be original in ideas when we are giving any kind of solution to any brand. So that's my take on that. So AI can be useful, but it can be dangerous also. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Needs a lot of courage and vulnerability to share. So thank you. I think this calls for a whole new conversation. So I think we'll take that up separately. So very quickly, I think we are out of time. So just your last words in terms of, if you had to give your 2025 marketing team one mantra to thrive in a tech transformed world, what would that be in just one sentence?
I think authentic storytelling with smart segmentation. That's it.
I think the only mantra that I give, and I've been giving, change for 2025, challenge the status quo and don't settle for less. Make things which are more relatable from a consumer perspective, rest successful follow.
Superb. So I think fantastic insights, and I think you guys have been like such a beautiful panelists to have on stage with, and you all are handling a category that's extremely sensitive, and kudos for that. You all are just exuding so much of empathy, and it just comes through. And no wonder the marketing is also kind of speaking that language. Love the insights that you all came up with on storytelling, empathy, authenticity, respecting customer boundaries. How do you deal with negative emotions, and yet you're doing your job. The whole space on matrices to now moving into mindset shifts. So I think, yeah, MarTech in general seems to be in a space of transcendence, right? There was a time when it was all about let's automate, let's automate. But today it's getting into storytelling, it's getting into authenticity. So thank you so much. You all have been a lovely audience. And all the very best to everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. They certainly deserve the biggest round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and insights. MarTech it is. Please give them a big round of applause. And can we have a photograph of them over here, please? Nice. If I can request all of you to come over here at the front, please. Ladies and gentlemen, as the photos are being taken, if you clap and appreciate, I'm sure that the smiles that they have on their faces is only going to turn wider. And of course, more incredible. So thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you the next time as well. All right. In the best interest of time, what we are going to do is we are going to be quickly moving on to the next panel discussion. This was about Martech 2025 Tools, Trends and Transformation. We now move on to the second panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be about AI and Gen AI transforming content creation. I'll repeat the topic once again for the panel discussion. This is going to be about AI and Gen AI transforming content creation. As we all know that, with generative AI revolutionizing content creation and AI powered insights have been optimizing strategies. And so how actually can brands leverage these technologies without losing that human touch? I think Sir was also just pointing out right now about, the use of AI and technology for PPTs and everything. So I think this is going to be a nice, interesting follow-up session to that, where we talk about how we can continue doing great things without losing that human touch. It's all about focusing on the real world applications of AI in personalized marketing, content creation, and of course, consumer engagement. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be calling up on stage our speakers first and then our honorable moderator. May I please have on stage Shireen Rai Gupta, Director, Marketing, Upgrad Enterprise, alongside Srinivas Khanolkar, Head, Digital Marketing and Corporate Communications, Mirae Asset Investment Managers. And to moderate this session, we have with us Ruhail Amin, Senior Editor, BW Businessworld and Exchange for Media Group. Mr. Ruhail, who needs no introduction in BW Businessworld space. Please give them a big, big, big round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much. When I say big applause, I can't really hear it. Can we all match up to that level and excitement as well? Thank you. Very empowering indeed. Thank you. We can take away one chair, please. Yeah, thank you. All right. And can we update the timer over here for our speakers and their reference? Shukriya. All right, so the stage is set, the panel is ready. Ruhail, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for the kind introduction. And I think we have a topic that we all can relate to: AI, ChatGPT, content creation. How many of you, of course, I think everyone, how many of you are really using ChatGPT in your daily life? I think we cannot deny it. And even on this side of the stage where we have, of course, this side of the stage where we have the experts who use, all kind of tools to reach out to people for their campaigns. How they use AI, is it good, bad? Does it really help create compelling content? Should there be a barrier between the human intelligence and the machine intelligence? All of these conversations will come up during our next 39, 40 minutes of this. And post that, I will pose a few questions. And I always believe that the panel has another speaker, which is the audience. So I'll pose a few questions and give you an opportunity to interact with them as well. So let me begin with the ladies, the panel. Shireen, let's begin with the basic idea. Has AI changed your approach to content creation? If you compare, it's been a couple of years since AI has been really mainstream. If you see your approach to marketing now and 2 years back, how much has AI really become a part of you and parcel of your professional, things?
I hope you can hear me. I think at a personal level, AI has been playing a huge role in all of our lives for many, many years now. If you look at smart replies on Gmail, you look at suggestions through your ads. So it's not really new to any of us, but coming into the workplace, becoming normalized, what I've realized is that AI has been taking away from what we like to call blank page anxiety and giving us a little something to build on. So, when in high school, you're asked to write an assignment and you're just staring at that piece of paper, suddenly think of that piece of paper as something that comes to life and you already have a few starting points. You can choose to reject them, but the fact that those starting points exist, for me, is the biggest change when it comes to how it has contributed to marketing. Hope that helps.
Right. I think that anxiety has gone. I do agree with you. I think you have something in front of you and then it kind of sparks off your creativity and you can deal with it, right? Srinivas, giving your sense of
How do you see AI? How integral has it become as far as your domain is concerned, as far as your marketing campaigns and communication is concerned?
So while the anxiety is sort of declined, the another level of anxiety is that are we getting it right? Because there is competition.
Yeah.
Right. So it never stops. So when we were backstage, we were chatting about, our old days of growing up. So we had crash course books we used to go to. While you had the textbooks, but we used to go to the crash course books, read them up because you had to
Right.
pass the exam,
Yeah.
right? And I think today GPT is doing something like that. It's summarizing and giving you a brief of what you need to do it. Now, is that it? It's not. You need to use that as a base tool to then build something.
Yeah.
And that has to be more organic. That has to be more creative. So in my domain, which is more of a investment world, we just can't rely on what is coming out from one particular portal and it is giving some answers. Yes, you can use that. You need to create something better than that. And it has to be more organic. It has to marry with your brand culture. Because you may have a certain fabric for your own company, for your own organization. Now, my company has been in existence in India for 17 years as a top 10 AMC and the only foreign brand to do it without any local partnership, right? Now, there is an ethos, there's a culture around it. Now, how do I sort of ensure that while I use technology, I still remain that authentic? And I think that is the crux.
You know, even I would say a year back or a few months back, there was this concept. We are still coming to terms with what AI and human interface is concerned. I mean, we still think, I'm more intelligent. I should not really accept the fact that I'm using AI. I'll give you an example from a journalist perspective. People also felt that no, it has to be written by me. I don't want a machine generated kind of an article. Culturally speaking, at a cultural level in the organization, how have you opened up to the fact that yes, it's part of our team now, it's okay to use, and among your interns and all, how do you tell them about AI?
Okay, that's a very simple question for me because we're a forever learning company at UpGrad. And very recently, we launched a partnership with Microsoft and NSDC, where we have actually created a super accessible suite of courses which can equip anyone and everyone into enterprise level generative AI usage. So since we launched that partnership, we also, of course, made it available to everyone who works at UpGrad. So it's very much part of our culture. On a daily basis, teams are being encouraged to learn, take those courses, practice, and actually use them in their daily work. So from a culture perspective, I have absolutely no complaints. What I have seen, though, in other companies is that because there is a lack of understanding about how you can use generative AI and still be safe or not get fired for releasing PID or putting out company secrets into the world, that's a bit of a concern. And I think what kind of work now is where companies take ownership and say, yes, there are returns to be had from this, optimization that AI allows us to do. And ingraining it as part and parcel of your process, just like you pick whether you want to work with a Google suite or a Microsoft suite, you pick which GPT you want to work with, you pick how you're going to actually train them and make it a part of your own engine. That's where we're moving towards. And I would really love to see more organizations going down that route because, the minute something is taboo, people are going to hide and do it, and people are not going to fess up to using it. And there is absolutely no shame in using something that makes your work faster, right? As long as it is still your work. So I think it's time for us to kind of step away from this question a little bit, because if an organization doesn't have an AI-friendly policy or an outlook, it's already been left behind, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Srinivas, your sector is a bit more sensitive because you deal with, something, which is very...
Vitamin M.
Absolutely. We're very sensitive data. How do you kind of negotiate this use of AI within your organization?
Yeah, you're right. So when money is involved, of course, you need to be extra careful. There's a fiduciary responsibility we carry, and we have to ensure that, this sort of data leakages don't happen. And hence, when the AI scene was like sort of, shooting off, we were watching it, but at the point of time, we were like, let it be, let it go a couple of years for it to settle down, have the right sort of ring fencing around it, so that you know then what to use, because you can't just jump on any new technology at any point of time, given how stringent the regulations are. And it ought to be like, there's a saying in the civil aviation world that regulations are written in blood, right? I mean, every time an accident happens, you learn.
Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to money, it has to be holier than that.
Yeah.
We have to be very, very careful. So when AI is coming now, like for example, GPT, you can subscribe. We ourselves use Copilot, which is an official tool that we're using because it's married into the Microsoft suite. While it is Copilot is very good for creating images and all, but still the brand guidelines, it doesn't sort of completely marry with. We need to make some changes on the colors and everything. Mid Journey possibly is the best tool right now for whatever we have used, because it does create, it gives you the right, you put your CMYK and it will give you the right results at what. But everything in technology is, I'm borrowing what Shireen said sometime back, garbage in, garbage out,
Yeah.
right? If you're not going to write the right thing, you're not going to get the right output. And whether it's true for any technology you adopt or even AI, because if you think it has its own mind, it will apply its own mind on garbage.
Absolutely. And just a little example from, say, a few years ago, maybe like 7 years ago, when I was first introduced to Canva. And my core competency was back then in writing, and I'm still not a designer. But I found it really empowering to be able to create like a, first proof of concept on a Canva and take it to the design team. But my God, they were not happy back then. They were like, oh my God, everyone thinks they're a designer. Well, no, I still don't think I'm a designer. But now tools have actually progressed to a point where when you go to a design team member, they want to see your visualization as well. Expectations have changed and tools are doing a lot better. Of course, having those custom tools within your organization is helpful, but also playing around and really finding ways to express your creativity within the team and cut back on that time that it takes for you to communicate an idea. It's something that I see almost every day. And it's fascinating because the minute you can, especially for people like me who are visual learners, actually turn like pages and pages of data into a comprehensive visual that really shows you where the iceberg starts and where it ends, it becomes a very, very useful way of actually moving forward and faster. And in many ways, it makes every generalist feel a little more empowered as a specialist because you're not coming in completely down. So you're cutting out on several layers of what you may have been spending hours and hours on. So there was a conversation earlier about like, what is the return on investment when it comes to using AI for your campaigns? Don't just look at the end result, also look at the process. How many hours have you really saved? And I think that's the first thing we need to be talking about as marketeers. Is the process becoming simpler? And in my experience, it has.
Absolutely. I think the point of AI is to unleash.
Just to add what she mentioned about Canva, today you can do a text to HTML in Canva. That's the latest feature that they released. So you don't need some coding guy sitting and doing something for it. You can just say that, I want this on my web page, and it can create. Right. Right.
Or
Now,
birthday party invite something.
yeah. So now the challenge is whether it will marry your brand. And I think that's the leg which probably is the next level. Because right now everything is available. How do you marry that in the brand conversation without a person being dependent? I think that's going to be the next leg.
Right. And I think the purpose of AI is to unleash the next phase of human intelligence and to do away those smaller bits which took your mental space, and that's where we are headed. I think we see more intelligent conversations, more time to kind of have creativity, better creativity for us. But let me ask you, Shireen, can you share any example of a campaign or an initiative where AI actually played a hero's role? And second, what is the best way to use AI as far as your campaigns are concerned, your marketing communication? Is there a playbook to it? And what is that?
Sure. And I'll talk to you about something that's not necessarily very new, but it was very fascinating to me a couple of years ago. And this is before generative AI became a whole thing. I was working on a few Google campaigns, and my manager was like, why are you looking at each version as a separate unit? Why aren't you looking at responsive display ads? Which basically meant that I can create certain sets of copy that the system will on its own do permutations and combinations of, look at how the response is, and then run them. Therefore, saving me time in terms of creating like 50 different assets and also, jumping into the campaign to kind of tweak it. And that's a few years ago. We've come such a long way now that performance marketing, which is, not very, very spoken about because it gets a little bit technical, has come such an incredibly long way with artificial intelligence that you just need to have the right targeting, the right prompts, and the right copy. And the system does it all for you. So the time that we are spending and the returns that we are getting from our performance marketing have completely changed. So that's overall across campaigns. But at a more specific level, if I were to talk about something that we've done recently, at Upgrad, we do a bunch of reports. Of course, when we talk about skilling, and I like to think that skilling is as core to a person's growth as K-12 education is, and it's a lifelong process. We try to speak to working professionals and really understand what they care about. And research that used to take us maybe 3 months has been done within 15 days. Converting that data, of course, it's become simpler, but I don't need my entire team to be a data specialist to be able to read that data. So you're putting in complex numbers and you're trying to figure out what the patterns are and those insights. And now we've got these reports that are well requested by heads of state, heads of organizations. And it's fascinating, right? Because our go-to market has become so much quicker. But not to bite my own tongue, but what I do need to say here as a caveat, though AI is taking away a little bit from the grunt work, that grunt work, if it goes away completely, could be a bit of a red flag, because that is the journey towards creativity as well. So finding that balance between how much you're asking a tool to do for you and how much you're doing with that tool is something that I encourage amongst the team almost on a daily basis, because if you completely outsource your work, which as of right now you cannot, what are you there for?
Absolutely. There's some very valid point here. Srinivas, in this audience, we have a mix of marketing experts, students who are interested in marketing, and some brand experts as well. So is there a playbook to using AI? What is the playbook that you get the optimal result out of it? What are those steps that we can use in the prompt way, to get the maximum out of it, according to you?
I think for anything to be successful, or if it's, I'll come from a learning aspect and then from an implementation aspect. I think from a learning aspect is very clear. I can see all students all bunched up on one side of the table.
They're smiling. They know how to use it, right?
So try whatever AI capabilities are there, which you have interest in, right? Because what's happening is people just read up. There are Instagram will throw up, oh, this AI tool, this AI tool, this AI tool. But it's not necessary that you learn everything. What is more important is if you're excelling in marketing, or you're excelling in sales, or if you're excelling in, say, HR or any other operations, whatever is your course, look for the tools which are going to help you in that, right? And then experiment as much as possible till the time you end up on the job. Because When you end up on the job, there's nobody going to come and tell you what's going to happen. That's the reality of corporate life. You learn on the job. And if you have that advantage that you know you've experimented with few and you've already presented case studies, and most of them do it already, right? During the internships. That is the key. So do not stop exploring, experimenting, and learn as much as possible. When it comes to implementations on the corporate, of course, there are certain rules and regulations you have to follow. There's certain guidelines which are given out that you cannot compromise on XYZ. So, for example, what is the most efficient way of working for our teams right now is throw in Copilot, throw in Mid-Journey, let the result come out, look at say 4 or 5 options, and then the team gets into debating that what is the right option which fits for the culture, which fits for the brand, and can communicate the message. And then you go about tweaking it, and that's how you result it. You've already cut down the entire process by half. Now that half which is left, you can't still again leave it on a computer to do it. You will have to put your conscience, you'll have
थोड़ा
to
सा
bring.
मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी.
हाँ जी. And I think that brings a question about as leaders in the organization, as departmental heads, on the recruitment process, because now things will get even tougher, right? You first probably you just screen through the resumes and you looked at experience and all of it. Now will come that, what have you done with it? How have you done it? Have it been has it worked for you? And more importantly, can you actually present it that this was your thought, this is how you used it, and this is how it worked? That is more crucial. So the recruitment process will now change. It's already changing, as organizations, she mentioned, the organizations adopting, collaborating with other organizations to use AI into learning courses and all of it. As recruiters, we will now start looking at it, whether you have actually made optimal use of that and then come. Right. So it's an evolving process, and it will evolve, and you will find people who have been using this right from day one. They have a much better understanding, and probably their CV sort of gets pushed up the curve a little bit.
Right. Shireen, are there any specific AI tools that are your favorites? Which ones are those? Which are the best ones, by the way, right now?
The best for me may not be the best for you. So I'll address the 2 parts of the audience separately, one for the students and one for the practitioners. At a practitioner level, I think it's very important to have a clear view of the tools that your organization has signed off on, because those are the tools that are the most secure. I have seen people, like I was telling you, put input into one tool, take that output, put that into another tool. So no one tool really does everything. And, there's no master tool yet. And we're seeing that come up. But given that we are all so spoiled for choice, and like Srinivas said, right, you're on Instagram, you're scrolling, you can't go 10 minutes without a reel that says, hey, how long will it take you to turn this data into a dashboard? It will take me 3 hours. No, I can do it in 7 seconds. I mean, I have seen those reels.
Were you the voice behind that?
मुझे लगा मैं ऐड ही देख रहा हूँ.
I mean, but it's confusing, right? So having a very clear baseline with your organization, I think, has been the safest thing for me to do. And what I have seen happening, at least at our organization, is that leadership is always super open if you have any ideas. And if there is a tool that you really want to start using on a regular basis, get a paid subscription to, chances are they're not going to say no, unless it's something that cannot be relied on. For the students, on the other hand, I would say play with everything that you can get your hands on that is free. Give it a fair chance, but do not be scared to discard. There are so many tools out there. And if you really want to just get a quick, fresh start into generative AI, you can do the Microsoft course that we've released. 10 specific tools that you will get trained in, including like a Copilot, which most organizations are using. And it'll give you a really good starting point on just understanding what's out there and how to use it and how not to use it. So when you're sitting at an interview and you're having a conversation about tools, you won't find yourself just saying that, yes, AI is changing the game. because believe me, that's not going to get you the job. If you show how AI is changing the game for you, how you've been able to research, contribute to your assignment, and fearlessly actually make use of the technology that is available to you in the public domain, your CV will definitely shine, and so will your application. I hope that helps. So no single tool. I will not be answering that question.
Srinath, your thoughts, your top picks as far as AI tools are concerned?
There are many, but I think from a content point of view, especially images, I think Midjourney right now for us is one of them. There are others which I think GPT will help you write, right? It'll give you, if the prompts are right, it will give you like if you want to draft emails, and GPT is a very good tool, right? It'll give you those basic templates out, and you need to improvise on that. That will happen, because I'm sticking more on the marketing side, because if you go on some of the other aspects, then you can go even more deeper to do it. Yeah, I think that largely is there. Copilot is also interesting because it is still confined in the boundaries of, because it is coming from Microsoft, which also understands how organizations work. It has built some ring fencing to it. While they may not openly talk about it, but when you use it, you put the same prompts on a GPT and Copilot, you will see the results, and GPT probably the compliance team will be okay with. So I understand that they have built something inside to ring fence it so that it doesn't go outside the domains of the regulatory environments.
Shireen, with AI capable of producing content and at scale, how do you maintain brand voice, tone, and emotional resonance amid this? How do you ensure that bit remains?
Good one. So in my opinion and experience, brand voice is not limited to your marketing collateral. It is not limited to the creatives that you put out there. It is all of the interactions that you have.
Closer.
Closer. It is all of the interactions that you have with your end user and customer. So, but starting from a marketing point of view, I don't know many brands right now that are fully depending entirely 100% on AI to really generate their content. There is a human element at the input stage and at the verification stage. So that check and balance is a super important one, which I think will continue for a while. And it's going to be what differentiates, say, an ad that you see, which you're like, who approved this? And something that is a lot more thoughtful. So think of it as the storytelling or the creativity is necessarily coming from the person, and the program is doing the execution for you. But the moment you take the person and the prompt away, there is no guidance, and there is no way it's going to really survive in the wild. So having that touch point is super important. And, I feel like no matter how confident I am about the output that I'm getting from a particular tool, I will always triple check it, because I am the one signing my name on that piece of content, right? It's not hello, with regards, Gemini. It is Shirin. So having that verification in place will make sure that the human connect doesn't go away. But it's also a little bit about knowing your audience, right? There's been so much debate online about the M dash, that, if you've, put something, copy pasted something from ChatGPT, it's very easy to see because they're using the M dash. To talk to writers, we use the M dash all the time. And we're not going to stop using it just because people think that it's coming from a ChatGPT. So bearing all those things in mind is important. But then again, marrying that with the actual on-ground experience that your brand offers. Unless, of course, you're an agency that is just churning out content. How are you speaking to your, in our case, learners? What kind of repeat rates are you seeing? What kind of customer retention are we seeing? And all of that needs to come together, because marketing in isolation, in my opinion, ends up just being, arts and crafts in many ways.
I like the way you've explained it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit here. She mentioned about, when you go to real world, how are you able to connect? That's very important. So we have done many campaigns, but one of the most successful campaigns that we've had so far was about a SIP campaign that we did. How many of you know SIPs? Most of you are doing SIPs, so great. So I don't have to sort of explain the concept. We had to recoin the terminology so that it resonates with people. So we just said that what is SIP? It's your dream, basically. You're building your purpose towards a dream. To dream kuch nahi hota, but sapna hota hai. So we recoined the term as Sapna in Progress. And the moment we put that out, and that's a human touch on the campaign, while most of it was designed with some bit of tech, content tech, AI tech, and all of that, this word sticks. And I think that is the crux. And as a marketer, it's very important that what is going to work on the ground, right? And my past experience has been in sales. So when I was in sales, the marketing team would give us about, say, 10 things to talk about a product. And we, as a sales guy, you will make it 100 and put it on the ground. Now, as I come on the marketing side, that all that 100 has to come down to 10 into one image. So that becomes very crucial. And I think without that human touch at the end, it's not going away. I know the first session today was about singularity we'll achieve in 2030. But there's another line which was mentioned, and I think I want to repeat that line, that the more digital, the more personal touch is important. Right? I think we had a lot of webinars during COVID time, but we are back to full packed houses having conversations because people love conversations. People love those conversations coming out from humans. So I think that's not going to go away, but you should use AI to propel these conversations. That's most important.
Are there any questions? You can raise your hand. I can bring you in at this point. Okay, short question. Yes, please. Can we hand over a mic here? Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Vishal. I'm researcher and deep tech innovators. My question is, always technology invent to, connect to unconnect and always speed up to scale faster, like marketings. So I want to know which market industry customers you want to connect using the AI, and which, AI ecosystem. There are a lot of things are there, either older content to convert into the regional language, many things possible. So which facilities you want to use, you to target using AI ecosystem, which can use into your, more marketing things. That's my question.
Okay. So in terms of, firstly, thank you for your question. In terms of the audiences that we can touch with artificial intelligence, the possibilities are endless. But like we spoke about, the specific tools that can actually help you bring your vision to life, again, those are many. So it's really, like I said earlier, about going through your need and really picking out what you want to do. So for example, if you're looking to research and you're looking for credible data points to support a particular argument, that's something that even a free GPT can really help you with. If you're looking to visualize said data into an infographic or, maybe like just a diagram, say a napkin AI can help you with that. If you want to create a wedding invitation for someone in the family, Canva can help you do that. And you can just put in a few prompts. So there's a lot that is available, and most of it right now is free. And I think we're at that golden moment right now where we have the luxury of really trying everything out. And again, I would encourage you, if you're feeling spoiled for choice, take the Microsoft course. It is incredibly well priced. It covers the 10 essentials. And I feel like you'll come out of it feeling a lot more clear about what you can do and what you cannot.
All right. Any other question? Well, let's take this lady. Yeah. And then I'll come to you. Yes. Three. That's all. We'll take three questions.
We have AI being filtering the content in new way. It is definitely giving one more layer of edge to get an overview of the content. But as far as we see, the earlier browsing experience used to give an extra essence and edge of expert comment in the flow of the blogs, and the search parameters that we had in SEO had a lot of maturity into the penetrated content, whatever field we had. So do you think AI has taken away that expert advantage, and how we can re-gear this as far as when we are searching into the AI prompts?
So the SEO bit under the trouble, right? Because of AI. Yeah, I think that's while it's not completely gone away, but there is a threat to that because you have now, like what Shireen was mentioning, there's Jasper which will help you in copywriting, right? It can write a lot of stuff for you, and there are different tools which are there for building. But I think what is most important again is how organic you are in that storytelling, right? Can you use an example and then with those prompts build a story, right? And I remember one stand-up artist talking about some personal story, and he says कि मेरे दोस्त के पास टाटा सियारा थी, right? And half of the audience doesn't know what a Sierra is, and says, "Acha chodo, Tata Safari thi." Everybody says, "Yes, I know that," right? And then he goes ahead to tell the story using Tata Safari. And while the story is true, he's just changed one part. Now we're not saying change everything, but I think it's very important that you use the right example, right? So as long as you can convey your message without modifying the ethos and the essence of it, that's going to resonate with people, right? So if you're taking a 10% liberty to do something, it'll still stand out. But if you're taking 100% liberty, it's not going to work. And that's where the challenge between AI generated content and SEO is coming today. So if it's authentic blogs, it's people writing of experiences and all of it. People today follow a lot of people for authentic blogs, right? Today, even your editorial column in any newspaper is still number one because it's written by them, right? They might be using a lot of AI tools to research on what they want to write. Finally, but they write it out. So that's most important. You know, you can have multiple things coming out, but eventually, if you're going to use something which is closest to you and tells your brand story, that's going to stick out.
Final question, last question, yeah. Okay, we'll take one more. No problem.
My question is to Srinivasan. You have been in the AMC business. I've been an ex-banker. I've been selling mutual funds since 2002, corporate investment. I would like to know from you, AI, would it replace, the chief information officer or maybe the fund manager, in the coming days? Because, the fundamental research or, the technical part in stock picking, and ultimately, you design your mutual fund scheme, where you have people, investing upon the performance. So those roles of the CIO or the fund manager in future will be taken over by AI. One. Second, Microsoft has recently come out, with a tool, just came in the paper a couple of weeks back, some global newspaper had carried this article. They have designed a tool which has replaced, the wealth management business, and a couple of banks in India are trying to explore that opportunity. And, it has already taken over, 650 jobs in the wealth management arena. So within your AMC business, you think that AI in future date may replace a fund manager, or maybe, you have 3 fund managers, brain, which probably an AI has, and which may, try to take up those opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Let me break it down for some audience may not be very well versed of what the fund managers do. So fund managers generally research, pick up stocks, and deploy your invested money into those stocks. And it's all aided by research work by a lot of humans across a lot of security houses, research outfits, as well as the AMC's own research people. Now, your question A was, would AI sort of disrupt that? Partially, it has already happened in the passive industry, where a lot of rule-based investing has come in. Right. So you write a bunch of rules saying that, okay, we will have top 50 stocks, but rather than following the index, which is lopsided to a certain sectors and companies, let's make it equal weighted, for example, right? Or let's just do top 10 stocks, or let us just do, say, a factor-based, alpha-based, or a quality-based. So that disruption has already happened. Now, how is AI helping the fund management industry? I think that is the most important tool, because what AI can do is quickly summarize and project numbers for companies, which probably a human was doing using certain tools, right? So which then leaves the research and the fund management team to do much more quality work than probably just quantity work. So that is one disruption which has started to happen, and you'll see already there are funds like a quant fund, today quantitative analysis fund. It's built on certain model, and the model decides what is to be done. You don't need a human intelligence on top of it. If you do it, then again, it will be alpha creation on that base level. That's part one of your answer. Part two of the answer was on, I think, on the wealth management side, right? See, India is a big opportunity where the wealth management and the private banking industry only caters to, say, the top 5, 7, 10% of the people. And then you have the platforms, digital platforms, which are catering to the base level, right? Anybody who has now a job, wants to do a SIP. So, okay, it's on the phone, do it. The in-between segment is the one which probably from a money aspect of going, meeting them, converting it is not resulting, like return on investment there for him is not there. So that is one sweet spot where now firms are looking at deploying wealth management techniques to connect with the audience and start converting it. So I think that's a big opportunity in the wealth management industry. And it will be an investment opportunity for investors who would like to, because that will come under the bank play or a wealth management play, and now capital markets. A lot of companies are getting listed. Earlier, there were no MCs being listed or RTs being listed. So
Right.
that's already happened.
I'm sorry, we cannot take another question. I will pose my final question to you, Shireen. Do you think there would be a time when AI could independently conceptualize and run a full-scale campaign?
It could. I don't think it should. Because like I said, that human intervention is critical, and creativity is something that comes from our lived experiences as human beings. So while AI may become sentient and it may have, all of the world's experiences together, it may not necessarily have those feelings and emotions. And like Srinivas rightly said, the best campaigns are driven by feeling. So that Sapna instead of simple is brilliant. It's a master stroke. And I don't know if a tool would necessarily be able to come back with that insight as emotionally or as even functionally as a person would. So the long answer short, could, but maybe should not.
Your final thoughts.
Can computers disconnect like humans and just go for vacation, refresh and come back? If it could, probably it will.
They need
Perfect.
to.
Maybe somewhere in between the two, but thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And thanks the audience for being so attentive listeners and interactive as well. Thank you for your time.
And thanks to you for some interesting questions.
Thank you so much, Rohel. Thank you so much to all our speakers. I request all of you to please kindly come forward for a nice group photograph. And, we are talking about AI and human. I think everybody in this room, none of them are AI. Everybody is a human. We are talking about feelings, right? So feelings ke saath thoda aur zor se taaliyon ki goonj, please, for this very, very, very interesting panel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of you. We look forward to seeing you all the next year as well. Best wishes. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will now be breaking for lunch. It will be a 30 to 35 minutes break for lunch. And post that, we will be coming back very soon in the second half. So please enjoy your meals, get refreshed. See you on the other side very soon. Thank you so much.